In the last two lessons, we have talked about algebraic expressions. And this lesson, we are going to talk about linear equations. So I guess we need to first say, what is the difference between an equation and an expression? Well, in an equation, we are going to have two expressions, such as, we'll call it 4p plus 15, and we'll have another expression that we'll call 7p minus 3. When you have two expressions that are set equal to each other, that is where you have an equation. An equation must have an equal sign in it. Okay? In order for an equation to be a linear equation, it must contain one variable. You can have x in it, or you can have y. And for example, in this equation here, we have the variable p. Okay, so you have p here and p here, and it's the same variable. It can be in multiple places, but it can only be one variable. So a linear equation can only contain this one variable throughout. Okay, now let's talk about what is a solution. A solution to a linear equation is a number that when you substitute it in for the variable, it will make a true statement. So if we say, okay, what is the solution to this equation that we have up here? Okay, if we were to substitute in the number 6 in for the variable p, then we would have 4 times 6 plus 15 equals 7 times 6 minus 3. Okay, we know 4 times 6 is 24. 24 plus 15 would give you 39. 7 times 6 is 42, and 42 minus 3 is 39. So are those two things equal? Yes. Therefore, 6 would be a solution. A solution is a number that you can substitute in for your variable, and it will make a true statement. Okay, now let's practice a little bit solving a linear equation. When we have a linear equation, when we talk about sides, we're talking about sides of the equal sign. So here is our left side of the equal sign. Here is our right side of the equal sign. When we look at this, we want to look and see how many terms we have and where the variable lies that we are solving for. In this case, the variable is x, and the term that contains it is 4/5 x. That means that we need to isolate 4/5 x on the left side of the equal sign. How do we do that? What term is with 4/5 x plus 8 equals 20? Well, a positive 8 is with it. So how do we eliminate plus 8? Well, we subtract 8. So if we subtract 8 from the left side of our equal sign, then we must also subtract 8 from the right side. So when we do that, the only thing left on the left side, the only thing that remains is 4/5 x. Because a positive 8 minus 8 is 0, so we can just cross that out. Now that equals 20 minus 8, which is 12. Earlier in one of the lessons, we talked about multiplying by a reciprocal. This is a case where we need to do that. We are trying to solve for what 1x is. We need to know not what 4/5 x is, but what 1x is. So we did figure out in the last lesson that when we multiply a number by its reciprocal, the product is 1. So when we look at this, the reciprocal of 4/5 is 5/4. So if we multiply the left side by 5/4, then we need to multiply our right side by 5/4. Okay, when we do that, 5 and 5 can reduce to 1, 4 and 4 can reduce to 1, and that leaves us 1x, which is what we're looking for. Okay, now we have 12 times 5/4. 4 into 4 is 1, 4 into 12 is 3. So now we have 3 times 5 is 15, and x equals 15 becomes our solution. On our second example, we are going to use some of the properties that we looked at earlier. We have 3 times the quantity of x minus 8 equals negative 2 times the quantity of negative x plus 7 minus 12x. So in order for this to work, we need to distribute. On the left side, we need to distribute the 3 to the x minus 8. I'm going to remind you, to distribute means to multiply through the quantity. 3 times x, and 3 times negative 8. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. Now we are going to distribute the negative 2. Negative 2 times negative x is a positive 2x. Negative 2 times positive 7 is negative 14. We have now distributed the 2 through the set of parentheses, and so we just need to bring down the negative 12x. All right, when we look at the left side of this equation now, we have 3x minus 24, and that's as simple as the left side can get. Okay, so we're just going to rewrite that, 3x minus 24. When we look at the right side of the equation, or the right side of the equal sign, we look, can we combine any terms here? Yes, we can. Can we combine anything with 2x? No, we cannot. Now we have the negative 14 minus 12. Those are like terms. They are both constants. So we put them together. Negative 14 minus 12 is negative 26. Okay, now we have the left side, and we have the right side of our equation of the equal sign. Okay, well, we need to put all of our variables, in this case our variable is x, so we need to move all of the x's to one side and all of our constants to the other. So we need to take the 2x and move it over with a 3x. The 2x is understood to be positive, so the inverse operation of a positive 2x would be to subtract 2x. If we subtract 2x from the right side, we must subtract 2x from the left side. So 2x minus 2x eliminates itself, and we have 3x minus 2x, which is 1x. So now that we have the variables moved to the left, we need to take the constants and move them to the right, which means we need to take this constant of negative 24 and do the inverse operation, which is to add 24. Okay, negative 24 plus 24 eliminates itself. If we added 24 to the left, now we're adding 24 to the right. Negative 26 plus 24 is negative 2. So we get a solution that x equals negative 2. The last example that we are going to look at is going to contain fractions. The coefficients of our variable x are fractions. In order to be able to add fractions, it's just like we learned in 4th grade or 3rd grade, we must have a common denominator. The common denominator between 4 and 5 would be 20. Okay, so we look at this and we say, okay, what do we have to multiply the 4 by to get 20? Well, 4 has to be multiplied by 5. So if we multiply the denominator by 5, we must multiply the numerator by 5, because 5 over 5 is essentially 1. So we aren't changing the value, we are just changing what it looks like. So now 5/20 x is what we'll have for the first term. Now we're going to take 2/5 and we need to turn it into 20ths also. Well, we're going to say 5 times what gives us 20? 5 times 4 gives us 20. So we multiply the denominator by 4, so we multiply the numerator by 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, now we have 5/20 x plus 8/20 x. Okay, 5 plus 8 is 13/20 x equals 39. Okay, now we're back into the same situation we were in the last example, where the coefficient of x is a fraction. When the coefficient of x is a fraction, we must multiply by the reciprocal because we are wanting ultimately to find 1x. So, what is the reciprocal of 13 over 20? The reciprocal of 13 over 20 is 20 over 13. So we are going to multiply both sides of this equation by 20 over 13. Okay, 20 and 20 reduced to 1 and 1. 13 and 13 reduced to 1 and 1, so we're left with 1x. 13 and 39 reduced. 13 into 13 is 1, and 13 into 39 is 3. So x equals 3 times 20, which would give us 60. So our solution is x equals 60.